Everybody, Ben here for the Bonehead podcast, and welcome to Top 5 Friday. On a Friday, we get together and we have a look at the top 5, something normally to do with Blood Bowl. So we've got to the point of the year where we're kind of sitting around going, okay, what's next for Blood Bowl? Like, what's going on? What's next? And I had a good old think on my week off with the family about, do you know what? There's a lot of exciting things still happening in Blood Bowl right now. And I just couldn't help but put together right now my top 5 things, the top 5 things I'm excited about in Blood Bowl. Number 5, you're going to love this. It's Goblin teams. So if you've been following the channel for a while, or just Blood Bowl in general, Goblins have had the worst time of it. Now, Goblins are a fantastic and a really uniquely positioned team in Blood Bowl. The Goblin positional itself, like the Goblin player, is fantastic. Like, they're so good on the teams that get them. I don't just mean Goblins. Like, all right, the Bruiser Goblins are slightly tougher than regular Goblins, but they're amazing. The Goblin on a Renegades team is also amazing. The Goblins on Underworld teams are also amazing. They are all a little bit buffed than the regular Goblin, but the point is that Strength 2 Stunty Dodge Movement 6 is a really good player. As far as stunty players go, Goblins are fantastic. The Goblin team, however, over this edition has just been blatted about from nerf to nerf. They have been the incidental victim and everything, and it's kind of a bit of a joke that, like, if one team gets something good, Goblins will somehow get worse. However, if you join us for the monthly meta tomorrow, you'll see that Goblins are actually playing a bit spicy at the moment, which is really exciting to see. So for me, number 5, Goblins being exciting, is they are coming up a bit. And there's this tangible test, this tangible joy in overperforming with something that is doomed. Okay, now Goblins in League are terrifying. They're wicked. They get that additional benefit that your opponent's not necessarily going to want to play you, because he knows that their players are just going to die. Like, so there's that joy in playing Goblins in League. But Goblins in Tournament, they suffer. But the way tournament rules packs are kind of changing at the moment, they are benefiting stunties a little bit more. They're the only teams that can get any whiff of a star player, which gives them a bit of an advantage. So Goblins, I think, are an exciting thing to watch at the moment, because they have been bad for ages. They've got nerfed repeatedly. But there's a challenge there, and it's so exciting to see people win with them. We had this at Beachhead, right? We had Goblins 3-0 after day 1, and it was so cool. Plus, there's loads of very, very, very cool Goblin teams out. In fact, Brute Fun's just dropping his Forest Goblin team at the moment. So, like, yeah, number 5 for me, Goblin teams. Number 4 is Maple. Maple, the new star player from the Almanac. So we saw this at Beachhead, where Maple with Gnomes went 5-0, absolutely crushed it the whole week. Okay, the whole weekend. Like, it was really exciting. But the thing to me that I find really exciting about Maple is this: it's new tech. We don't get this in Blood Bowl. Like, Maple is a new star player. We get star players regularly, but most star players are, they are kind of just a bit of a toolkit. They're, you know, star players land in a game and they either go break them or they don't really do a lot. The Gnome star players, they've hit a really cool cadence. You've got Rodney, who does some cool stuff. Now we've got Maple, who do some cool stuff as well. So the tree's ability to, like, block a distance, blocking at a range, having a movement 3 tree, still strength 5, having brawler as well. It's just a really cool star player. I mean, the range of teams that they can play for is not brilliant, but just having a new bit of tech there to see, okay, there's some cool things that are brewing up. There's like a 6-month period here where people are going to be experimenting with Maple, and on the back of that, they're going to be experimenting with Swift-Vine Glimmershard, or Glimmervine Swiftshard. I can't remember the way to say that name. Anyway, the little pixie thing that can bamf around and stab dudes. We're at a point now where these stars are landing. They are not overpowered. They're not game-breaking immediately, but there's a bit of interest to them where we can see, all right, we're going to see some really clever coaches do some really clever things with them. And I find that very interesting. So number 4 for me is Maple, but also kind of Swift-Vine. Number 3, it's Amazons. Okay, so again, we saw this at Beachhead, and do you know what? On my reflections, I kind of thought, what did I get really excited about when I was at that tournament? And you know, it's great to see everybody, but like from a gameplay point of view, what did I come away going? Oh, you know what? Goblins did really well. I reckon I'd love to give Goblins a go. Like maybe brew up something clever. Maple. I'd like to try out Maple on the pitch, see what we can do with them. Amazons. Now, Amazons is a 2-for-1 here. Not only are they a fantastic team in tournaments, I think they struggle a little bit in league because they do I mean, not really, to be honest. Like, they're still very good in league. But you can get crumped a little bit. They kind of have a little bit of Elf Union syndrome. A little bit. But they're so cheap, you can afford an apothecary, and the positionals can be replaced really quickly. So it's like... it's a first world problem. It's a first tier problem in Blood Bowl. But they are landing in Blood Bowl 3 now as well. So not only have you got this interesting team, I want to say it's new, but it's been a couple of years now probably, that's got some cool positionals and some cool potential that you can run in league with your friends at your local club. You can take them to a tournament, and there's some really cool tech there. If you can get some, if you access to star players, then the Amazon Drool and Dribble build is really cool. They've obviously got Ariel, Venehex, the Frog Lady too. Like, they've got access to some interesting pieces, but the team itself, it's a little bit of unexplored territory. It's really potent, and talking to great players like Talkmarder and Greenskin Phil, they're like, this team is the stuff. Like, this team does not need much stuff at all, and they can really start cooking. So it's really interesting because we saw Amazons in the last Bonehead Championship, and they had a lot of bad luck. Like, they didn't last great. That was really high expectations for them. But seeing them perform really well in tournaments and stuff really makes me quite interested in the team. And now they're on Blood Bowl 3, which is really interesting. And something that I find really exciting is the fact that we've got this high-performing team going into what tends to be a pretty gnarly bash meta in Blood Bowl 3. Now, Amazons historically were a bash team lined up with dodge. It was a wicked kind of contradiction that played out really interestingly. Now they've got the strength 4 places with defensive, and you've got the cool interaction with hit and run. It's a really interesting team. So number 3 for me, Amazons. I would not have said this 4 years ago because I thought the old Amazon roster was boring. This one, at number 3 for me, is one of the most exciting things in Blood Bowl right now. Number 2, and it is the 2 remaining teams of legend. They're going away. We don't know when. I have hopes and wishes that we'll see both of them kind of dealt with this year. But for me, that makes running them really exciting because they're on the clock. They are on the clock. If you like High Elves, if you like Tomb Kings, if you like the way they play, if you've never played them, you may be sitting on the fence going, well, there's not really much point because Games Workshop's going to change the roster, which, to be honest with you, I am pro for any changes for either of their rosters. They both perform really well. I think they could both do with a bit more flavour. And quite frankly, every change Games Workshop's made to rosters, even the Chaos Dwarf one, has been, no, I want to say for the better. The Chaos Dwarf one was obviously not for the better, but it did add a bit more flavour to the team, and it made the team a little less carbon copy-ish. High Elves and Tomb Kings could use a little bit of that, whether they get another positional, whether they get a little bit of flavour boost, a skill boost, something like that. Something is going to come for them, and they're going to be different. I'd be really disappointed if they weren't, but hey, I looking at the trends, right? What they did with Amazons and Norse and Chaos Dwarves and vampires, like, we can expect a bit of zhuzhing when it comes to High Elves and Tomb Kings. So the reason they are the number 2 most exciting thing in Blood Bowl right now is that they are on a clock. They are on the clock. They are going away at some point. So this could be, I mean, it's March. Games Workshop tends to drop a team in the spring, a team in the autumn. So I think it's reasonable to assume that one of the 2 teams that we might get this year could be a team of Legend Rebirth, if you're looking at how the last few patterns have gone. So they're on the clock. You've got maybe a year left with them. So if you're looking for a new challenge in Blood Bowl that isn't going to be there again, you've got a window, which I actually think, instead of being like, well, I'm going to invest in a team, I'm not going to be able to play it again, you're investing in a moment right now. And the great thing about this for Blood Bowl players is You can learn really cool things. You can invent and see and gain the knowledge of really clever plays and stuff like that. But most importantly, you get to complain like hell when Games Workshop changes it. Because you can be like, oh, I've been playing High Elves and they're great. And now they've got a Strength 4 blodge, please. Like everybody else, it's rubbish. Is it? You know, oh, I used to have 4 Tomb Guardians. Now I've got 6. This is crazy. I think now is the time to play some Team of Legends, because there's only 2 left and they're going to go away. And I don't know, it would be cool to be able to go, do you know what? I did main High Elves for a bit in the old one, and now a new High Elf team's come and I really know the difference. So for me, number 2 is the 2 Teams of Legend and just getting the reps in now while they're here. Number 1 for me, the most exciting thing in Blood Bowl right now is Adepticon. This is, as Valrak would say, foil hat stuff, right? But this time last year we got gnomes. Gnomes dropped to the Warhammer World Anniversary. I think the year before that we got something at Adepticon, and Adepticon is coming up next week, week after. And it is the prime opportunity for a team reveal. 1, because it fits in with their spring release pattern, and 2, because I know it's going to be at 4 o'clock in the morning, which means I'm going to have to get up and upset Tiff. That's just how it rolls. Now, I could be barking up the wrong tree. I might be getting excited over nothing, and actually Games Workshop could leave us waiting for a bit longer. But I think we've got... come on. I am willing this into the universe that we are going to get some Blood Bowl news in Adepticon, because I want it and because it fits with their kind of timeline, with how it seems to go with Games Workshop. It's such a good opportunity for them to preview something. I just hope they've got something lined up for us. I've just mentioned we've got 2 Teams of Legend that they're due a refresh. There's a ton of other things they could go for in Blood Bowl. They could do, you know, there's loads of teams they could go for. I mean, Squig team is the most obvious one. You've got more Chaos teams. There's just like, we don't have a Tzeentch team. We don't have a Slaanesh team. Like, there's just stuff there that's really obvious that they could just absolutely be on the fence for, even if it's not High Elves or Tomb Kings. Or the one thing that I thought was really interesting is somebody told me at Beachhead, as they were like, oh, I've heard a rumor that High Elves are going away and they're being replaced by Sea Elves, because Sea Elves used to be in the game like a long time ago. And oh my god, which of the guys? It's not Jordell. It's Eldril Sidewinder? Was he a Sea Elf? I think he might have been a Sea Elf. Anyway, yeah, I think he was a Sea Elf. Anyway, the point is, there's so much they can do with Blood Bowl, and Adepticon would be such a good opportunity to build up the hype, to show it. There's gonna be a preview, so we haven't seen the little logo. They'll drop the little logo, and I imagine Blood Bowl won't be on it, and I'll be heartbroken, and Trips will be like, told you, Ben. But come on, number 1 for me, Adepticon, because it's it's preview season. Let's have some more Blood Bowl. Anyway, I'm going to wrap up. Let me know what you're most excited about in Blood Bowl at the moment, because actually there's a ton of stuff going on, and I love all of this stuff going on the list. Anyway, I'm going to wrap up. Thank you very much for joining me. We'll be back soon with more Blood Bowl content. Happy blocking.